What's up, everybody? It is your boy Victor Dawson back on your screens again. I know I've been gone for a minute, you guys, and if you are new, welcome. What's up? What's tea? Now, in this video, we are going to be talking about everything Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 1. But before we do, let's go ahead and hit that bright red subscribe button. That will help me out a lot. Also, hit that like button and don't forget to hit that bell so you know every time I post. And honey, let's get into this video, shall we? Alright, you guys, now without further ado, you already know Falcon and the Winter Soldier premiered last Friday and is the talk of the town until it's over, just like how WandaVision. Now, before we get started, we're going to basically go through a quick synopsis of the entire episode, and then we're going to dive in, and I have a couple questions that I feel like I want to talk about, and maybe you want to talk about too. Now, just to let you all know, this is the channel for the people who are not the super nerds in the Marvel universe. I wish I was one of them. I wish I could tell you every single thing about every single character. I don't know. I have to research in my little book and look online and do things, but I am such big of a fan to where I want to react and talk about it with you guys. So if you are not that super know-it-all about Marvel, this is the channel for you. And if you are that super know-it-all about Marvel, hey, help me help everybody. You know what I mean? I want to learn too. Anyway, let's get into the episode. We start off this episode with Sam Wilson ironing his shirt to get ready for this press conference / honorary moment of him retiring Captain America's shield at the Smithsonian. We see a scene of them replaying the audio of when Captain America gave Sam the shield and Sam was like, he feels like it wasn't his. We jump into this beautiful action scene, which was so good, and we see Falcon helping out the US military as like a contract for hire type of situation. And they're basically telling him LAF is trying to kill one of their captains or something. We'll get into LAF later. But the catch is they already are entering an airspace which they are not really allowed in, or they're entering towards the end of the airspace that they are allowed in. That also got me thinking that might be why they call onto Sam. Falcon ends up reaching the plane to find out that LAF has already intercepted said plane. He has his Red Wing drone behind him that helped him get into the plane, kind of like with Tony and Jarvis. We see scenes, these awesome action scenes of him fighting LAF trying to get to the captain. We are also introduced to a new character called Lieutenant Torres, but we're going to get into his character later on. I think he has a little meaning to himself. We see more awesome action sequences, and he ends up retrieving Captain Vasant. After catching Captain Vasant, we see they are now in Tasnia. We have this interesting scene with Sam and Torres reaches to touch Sam's AI Red Wing, and Sam is kind of hesitant. He's kind of defensive. He's like, hey, I don't want you to touch this, because apparently every time the military or the government touches his suit or his drone, whomever, it always ends up being some problems. So that also got me thinking maybe Sam, they want to hurt you in a way. We'll talk about that a little bit more in the deep dive. So Torres introduced us to the known villain group called Flag Smashers. They converse about how the Flag Smashers want unity without borders, and he basically catches us up on who they are. We get conversation about Captain America's death, which we are still trying to figure out if he is dead or alive. I don't really know. Of course, Sam didn't really give us much. We are now in Washington at the Smithsonian, and we are watching this memorial service situation for Captain Shield. We see a look of Rhodey, aka War Machine, featured as one of the military men in the front. We then go to Rhodey and Sam. They are having this conversation throughout the Smithsonian Avengers exhibit, and Rhodey is basically trying to get into his head. He's basically trying to understand why he didn't want to take the mantle like Captain America wanted him to do. Sam's only defense was it was frozen for so long and nothing happened, so why do y'all need it now? It should just be memorialized, because he doesn't think he's the right man for the job. We are now finally being introduced to Bucky Barnes, aka Winter Soldier. We see him having this somewhat of a nightmare dream situation where he's remembering times of him being the Winter Soldier and his mind was controlled by Hydra, and then we see him at the end fighting all these people and then end up killing some innocent man who I think will come in later on in this plot. We cut to Bucky talking to his therapist, and the therapist is basically asking him if he is still having nightmares. He lies and tells her no. She is basically letting him know that a term of his pardon from the government to be out and free in this world was to talk to her. So she basically wants him to open up to her as much as possible. Bucky proceeds to tell her about his list of amends that he has. Basically, this list is like a list of people who do bad things for Hydra, and he remembers it from his Winter Soldier past, and he is basically trying to help them catch these people. So the counselor gave him 3 rules to abide by while he's living out his life. 1, he can't do anything illegal, or 2, he cannot hurt anyone, and 3, he is got to announce that he is no longer the Winter Soldier and he is now Bucky Barnes. The counselor then tries to tell Bucky that you need to go out and socialize more. She's trying to tell him you need to be more open. She then reaches for his phone and sees that he hasn't even called Sam back. So then we just found out that Sam has apparently been contacting him for some reason, but we don't know why. We don't know what's going on. We cut to Brooklyn where we meet Yori, who is Bucky's older friend, and they end up eating at this Izzy's bar. And Yori, first of all, Yori, you are the best wingman ever, honey. Yori basically set him up on a date with the bartender girl. We then find out that Yori's son was killed. Now, we'll get more into that death later on in the episode. We are now in Louisiana where we see Sam reuniting with his sister and nephews, and they are fighting about the family boat. Apparently, there's this family boat that's been in the family, and they are basically deciding if they should sell it or not. Sam doesn't want to sell. The sister wants to sell. Remember, Sam was vanished from the blip, so he was gone for 5 years. The sister wasn't. She was holding down the fort, and I guess the hardships of this boat is just making her want to sell it because she's been taking out loans, all that, and she just want to get rid of it. We're back in Brooklyn where we see Bucky on a date with the bar girl. We see Bucky. We found out that Bucky was trying out online dating. Okay, Bucky, I see you. We then watch them play Battleship, and then she's basically trying to get to know him, and he is not in the right mind space to even get to know her. He's still worried about when Yori was talking about his death. He's trying to figure out who was that person because he thinks in his mind that he knows who Yori's son was. We then cut to him going to Yori's apartment, and we find out that his son was the person that he had just had a nightmare about who he killed because it was an innocent man. Mind you, Bucky was mind controlled by Hydra, so he couldn't control what he did. You know, we all know that he killed Iron Man's mother and father, so he's just dealing with those things now. We are now in Switzerland where Torres is recording, basically trying to see what is going on with the Flag Smashers. Now he's kind of trying to be a little spy and see what's going on with them, and he watches them go through a bank heist, and we see the Flag Smashers rob the bank, and then we also see that they're like super strong soldiers. We don't know what that has to deal with. They might be like serum strong, like Captain America. We don't know. We then cut back to Louisiana where we see Sam and his sister trying to get a loan at a bank for this boat because Sam is really in his heart trying to basically get this boat back alive so they can make money from it again, and the sister really ain't hearing for it, and the bank teller that they have, or whoever that was that worked for the bank, he then realizes who Sam is. He's not really worried about them trying to get a loan. He's more worried about Falcon, and he's trying to figure out how is the Avengers paying him. And we also found out they wasn't getting paid, which was kind of weird. Like, you saving the world so many times, you mean to tell me the government couldn't cut a check, honey? Like, what is tea with that? Anyway, the man didn't offer them the loan, and the brother and the sister, Sam and his sister, they are arguing going back to the car. Now, what caught me was she said something about our dad was so big and they didn't even recognize him. Who is his dad? I'm gonna need to do some research because is the dad a big part of this? Does anybody know who the dad is? Do we have a name? Do I need to look it up on Google Eye? Like, what's tea with daddy? Anyway, we are now back with Oh, and we also figured out that his sister is a widow. So I don't know if the blip had anything to do with her husband's or wife's. I don't know if they announced that it was husband or wife, but does the blip have anything to do with it? We don't know. We then get Torres FaceTiming Sam basically to tell him what happened when he was spying on the Flag Smashers. And he got a good picture of the leader. Sam had a brief moment where he was thinking maybe they might be like super serum type of individuals, but we didn't get that much more of it. Very last scene, his sister barges in the room and tells him to look at the news. And we see the government basically has appointed a brand new Captain America, and that character we will talk about later on in this video. All right, you guys, now that was the quick little synopsis. Now I got a few questions that I think we need to know. I got a few questions that I want to talk about, and honey, hopefully this help you, but it's dog sure gonna help me to talk to you guys about it. Now the first question is, who is LAF? Who is this little organization that the government wanted Sam to take care of when he was up in the air in the beginning of the episode? Now, from my research, LAF is a criminal organization that seeks to take advantage of the after effects of the blip in order to make a profit. Now, I'm guessing, I don't know if we're going to see any more of them. I feel like we will, since they were such a big deal to the military. I feel like we're going to see a little bit more of them, but I also feel like we're going to see some Flag Smasher stuff too. So, well, looking at the trailers, we're clearly going to see a lot of things with Flag Smashers. So I don't know, we might not see that much of LAF anymore, but I feel like that's someone that we need to keep our little eyes on, because honey, we don't know what they're about. We don't know what they're doing. We don't know what's tea with LAF. Second question is, who is Lieutenant Torres? Now, Lieutenant Torres is first name Joaquin Torres, I believe. Yes, what I gather is he is an intelligence officer for the Air Force, and he was with the half of the community that was still on Earth when everybody else blipped. So he wasn't a part of the blip. But in the comments, when I looked him up, he kind of takes the mantle as the next Falcon. Now, if that is the case, that'll be the perfect segue to, because in my mind, maybe at the end of this series, Sam will finally take the mantle of Captain America, and then we have Lieutenant Torres. His character might actually take the role of Falcon, since he kind of did in the comics. Anyway, in the comics, he was like this bird-like figure, like this half human, half bird-like figure. So, hey, I don't know. Maybe we might see Joaquin, caw and become the Falcon, honey, and that'll be sickening to see. But if you didn't know who that was, make sure you pay attention to him, because I don't think he is going anywhere in this universe. All right. Next question is, who are the Flag Smashers? What are the Flag Smashers? What is going on with Flag Smashers? Now, Flag Smashers is an anti-patriot group, basically a bunch of anarchists, basically. When Sam and Torres was on that FaceTime call later on in the end of the episode, Torres was showing him a picture of the leader, who we think is Carly Morgenthau, or Carly Morgenthau. I don't know how to pronounce the man name or the woman name. I just know that was the name. So if you know how to pronounce it, you can leave it in the comments. But these flag smashers seem to be super strong. They might be experiments like Captain America was. We're not really sure, honey. We don't know. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. We just know they're super strong in some type of way. Maybe there's some form of mutants. We're not sure. We do know that they are basically the bad guys this entire series, because in the trailers, all we see is him and Bucky, Sam and Bucky fighting these people. So we're definitely going to see more, but that's what I gather of who the Flag Smashers are at the moment. The next thing I wanted, it really wasn't a question, but I just appreciated the updates on the Falcon suit. So the Falcon suit, which is known as Exo-7 suit, has upgraded wings, and now it has like the little red ring drone. We've seen the red ring drone in one of the past Avengers movies, but we see it more in detail now. It's kind of like a little mini Jarvis for Falcon suit. It's kind of, it now has some type of voice command. And I kind of like how they interpret that, because like I said earlier, it reminds you of this Iron Man aspect. So I loved every new detail and color about the new X-07 suit. The wings looked a little bit longer. They look sharper. We have bulletproof wings now. We have so many different ways he can open them and close them. The suit is upgraded. It looks nice. I think it's like bulletproof in some way or extent. And Falcon really looks good with that new suit. So I'm all about the upgrades on the new suit. My next question was, what was Rhodey's objective in this episode? Now, we love to see Avengers just pop up in different not in different universes, but we love to see the Avengers pop up in everybody's timeline. We love that. But I think Rhodey was significant only because of the time period that we are in today. Now, when watching this, it looks like Rhodey was trying to convince Sam to take on the mantle, and it looks like he was kind of upset that Sam really didn't take the mantle on whatsoever. He was kind of trying to figure out why, especially you being a black man today. That's what it was giving off. He didn't really say that, you guys, but you know what we're dealing with today with all of these, with the protests and how we're trying to get the government to understand that we are not being seen as how we need to be seen. I think with all of this going on in the world, this was the perfect way for them to integrate that with the Marvel Universe. And I think that's what Rhodey was giving off when Rhodey was like, look, we're in a different time, man. You need to take on this role. So then we see Rhodey basically say, I'll talk to you later. I'll catch up with you later. So we might see Rhodey later on, we might not, but I just do love how we see different little Avengers popping up. Hopefully we see more. I know there were rumors saying that there's going to be a lot of special guests, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's only 6 episodes, and the last time they told us something was going to happen, which aka was WandaVision, Paul Bettany, nothing ended up really exciting happen. So we're not going to keep our hopes up, but it's something to keep your eye on, sweetie. Last question is, who is the new Cap? Now, at the very end of this episode, we get introduced to a new character, this government-appointed new Captain America situation. We didn't like it. Of course, everybody on social media was like, who is this? Why? As from the trailers, we did know U.S. Agent was going to be a part of this show, and they just introduced him at the very end. He is basically the new government-appointed Captain America. Now, this person is known as John Walker, aka U.S. Agent. John Walker was a U.S. Army veteran who went through a process to enhance his strength. Then he became convinced to put his skills to better use and become a superhero. He was later chosen to take up the mantle of Captain America when Steve Rogers retired. He was a hard right Christian man. He was a right-wing conservative and believing in the country before anything else. When he finally pushed through, he reestablished himself as U.S. Agent, where he went and served on as a member and even a leader in the Avengers. That is the excerpt that I found from various websites online. So basically in the comics, he became a part of the Avengers and he became another Captain America type. Now, the way that Marvel looks like they're going to spin it in this Marvel universe that we are in now is he looks like he's going to be somewhat of a bad guy. Like he got that look to him. Now, I know in the series we're going to see more about him, and he's going to be in the series because we see so much of him in there. So I'm thinking maybe Sam and Bucky are going to try to basically intercept him and get the shield back. I don't really know how that's going to go. I don't even know if they gave him the right shield. I don't know. I just think that he's going to be just an obstacle for them to get back the shield and be Captain America again. I think the government just wanted to put somebody's face for the world to see so they won't be so nervous and scared. And since Sam didn't take the mantle, they just got John Walker, aka U.S. Agent. We don't know where this man has been these past couple years. We don't know his story or his background. So maybe in the series we will get more of his story and his background. But honey, that's all that we got so far. Now, Any other questions that you guys got for the episode, please leave them in the comments below, you guys. I really love doing these with you, and I promise I will get better with them for you. I want to do more things for movies and TV because I love them so much. So I'm trying my best to work hard and give you the product and give you the content that you need. So you guys help me along. Please comment below what you think is going to happen in episode 2. Please comment along what you had questions about and what you think will happen next. Because, honey, we need to see what's going on with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and we need to strategize and see how this is going to end. Granted, we only have 5 episodes left, so I feel like every episode is going to give us a lot of good storyline, because with WandaVision we only had like 20 something minutes, and honey, we had 9 episodes, but it went all that. Every episode had you thinking something that you really shouldn't even thought of, because at the end, everything that we thought did not happen, and everything that did happen was very predictable. So let me know what y'all think, and we will talk more about it. Please make sure you hit that bright red subscribe button. Also hit that like button and follow me on all my social media, you guys. Follow me everywhere. Talk to me. I would love to interact with you guys. And I will see y'all in the next review for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Bye, guys.